Well, boom. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the channel here with Luke, the therapist. Maybe that's what we'll call it, Luke, the therapist. Today, we're going to talk about the challenges and the benefits of being authentic. So let's go. So, oftentimes, we'll hear about that, like, you just need to be yourself. Just be you. But what does that mean? Right? It's great to say these things. It's great to encourage these things. But what does it mean to be your authentic self? So most of us have lived a life where, well, let's be honest, we're kind of BSing everybody half the time, because if we're our authentic self, then we'll actually say things that bother us. We'll actually say things that we don't agree with. But a majority of us have spent a great deal of our time saying, no, I don't want to upset them. I don't want to do that because my views and opinions will be different than someone else's. And we sort of gathered around always wanting to be nice. And there's nothing wrong with being kind, but being nice is almost placating to others' needs, making sure their needs get met, and ours don't. And there's also this whole manipulation tactic that I know for myself when I was really working through the whole being nice thing, as opposed to just being kind. Um, that when I really took a long, hard look at it, of how manipulative that really was towards other people, but also towards myself, like manipulating myself into, well, if I just be really nice, then maybe they'll like me, right? And then you can associate that with, time ago stuff, with guilt and shame, where you, maybe someone in your life, as mine, a long time ago, that if you just kept them happy, then they wouldn't be upset all the time. So if you could figure out how to just do that, then everything would be okay. And the problem is that maybe that person is okay for a little while, but it taught me that if I do that, then I don't really ever have an opinion about anything. I never really figure out who I am. And so we can all do these things. It's not a, well, you're special now, Luke, and you figured this out. Not at all. Right? There's still times when I notice, not really being myself. And we'll often see these kinds of things and behaviors, in different relationships, right? Whether they be friendships, whether they be intimate relationships, whatever it may be, where, you really want the person to like you. And so you think you have to do something other than be yourself to get them to like you. Now, doesn't that sound silly when you say it that way? So I think they like me, but I better act differently so then they really like me. Bizarre that we do these things, right? Come on, if you're watching, if you got this far and you're kind of a little bit interested, like, so why do we do these things? Well, let me tell you. Over the years, working on myself and working with hundreds and hundreds of different clients, this is a common thing, trying to figure out who we are authentically. When there's an idea about something, you're at work, you're in a meeting, and you're kind of the person that just goes along with everything. And now that we're talking about it, you're going to notice it. You're going to notice next time you're in work, you might be in a meeting, you're doing some sort of thing at work, whatever it may be, and you're going to notice, geez, I never really say much. I don't really give my opinions. And what I want you to think about is that when people do give their opinions in those meetings or get-togethers, you'll notice it's the one that does give their opinion, and it's maybe doesn't go along with the in thing, but they give their opinion, their genuine opinion, and they're not boisterous about it or like rude about it, but they're like, no, I don't really agree with that because how I see it is this. And that doesn't mean everyone will like go, oh yeah, well they said that. But what you'll see is there'll be a great deal, maybe quietly, of respect for that person to actually speak their opinion. So they're being authentic. They're speaking their version of how they understand it. And you see how that works? Now, here's the risk. When we're authentic, sometimes people aren't going to like you. A lot of times they're just not going to like you. But here's another secret, another pearl. It's okay if not everyone likes you. Really okay. You'll manage. And let's be honest, do you like everybody? No, right? You're not walking around going, yeah, I like this person, I like that person. It doesn't mean you don't treat them with kindness or treat them with respect, but you just might not like how they roll, right? You just don't like how they think about things or how they are, but it doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that you don't like them. And believe it or not, there's people out there that feel that about you, and that's okay. That's 100% okay. Because if everyone likes us, or we have it's really a belief, right? We believe, well, everyone likes me. No, they don't. They just don't. Not everyone likes you. There's some real people in your life that genuinely care about you, like you, and want you to do well. Those are your people. But there's other people in this world that could give two craps about Lucas Burton, and that's okay. And I'm just saying, so remembering, we'll often talk about these things around self development, working on our mental health, mental wellness, awareness, that, it's all going to be amazing. And, if you really step back and look at it, it is. But, there is going to be some gritty points to these things, and oftentimes when I do my Facebook lives or on Instagram, the people that disagree with what I'm talking about, that's okay, right? It isn't that if someone agrees with me, I'm like, oh, they're awesome. And if they disagree, me like, whoa, whoa, you know? So the other thing about being authentic is not like gravitating to the people that agree with you or gravitating to the people that disagree with you. It's staying in that middle, being authentic to you, right? You'll often hear comparison is the thief of joy. I think it was Marcus Aurelius that first penned that, but I'm not sure. I think it was. Comparison is the thief of joy. And if we spend all our time comparing, like, well, if I just do this and I do that, then I'll be like this person, or I'll be like that YouTuber, or I'll be like that person on Facebook. And you start comparing yourself, there's no magic for you anymore. It's just you're sitting there comparing all the time. Same thing in our everyday life. It's like, I'm going to model myself after that person. And behaviors like, doing well, eating well, taking care of yourself, modeling those types of things, those are great, you know, and how they do things. But it doesn't mean just because you do it, you're going to get the same experience that they did. You're going to get a completely different experience. And that can be very frustrating with people because, like, I read about all these people. I went to the same schools. I read all the same books. Why am I not like them? Because you're not being your authentic self. You're not being you. That's what I'm getting at. And the challenge can certainly be is figuring out who you are. And that's part of that's the juice, man. That is the juice, figuring out who you are. And you may have a really good idea who you are. That's fantastic. But figuring those things out and taking the time to figure out who you are, that's okay. And not everyone's going to like it. That's okay too. You don't have to like that they don't like what you're doing. You can be like, well, I'm doing this because I need to do this. I need to work on myself. I need to figure this out. And being authentic and figuring out who you are, so you're going in internal, right? That heart thing I talked a lot about on Facebook and Instagram, going into your heart, right? Which can be a challenge for a lot of people because not everyone likes to talk about their feelings or how they're feeling, especially to themselves. Like to push that stuff down, push it away, doesn't exist. It does, and the more you go into that heart for you, the more you'll understand about yourself. And it's not a one and done, it's not a quick fix, right? And that can be part of the challenge as well, because we live in a society. This thing I'm speaking into right now, I can go on and put in a bunch of stuff on the internet and have all the answers. Well, the projected answers anyway. But with us, we have to go inside. We got to do that work, that internal work. And that could take a long time, or it could be instantaneous in certain things, right? But as long as we're not putting an attachment to the outcome and just going to the process of figuring out and being authentic to who we are as far as we know. And you know what? That's going to change probably. There'll be parts of yourself that, when you were 20, you really felt this way. But now that you're in your 50s or in your 40s, or in your 30s, you might think a little differently. You might feel a little differently. And it's okay to line up with those different narratives that are coming up, those different stories, right? For each part of the process that you're going through. So remember, be authentic to yourself, despite what anyone might have told you, right? And don't forget, you're enough. You are 100% enough. And you are so worth all the work you're doing on yourself. And you are deeply loved. And when I'm speaking about that, when you're deeply loved, is look inside yourself. And if you can feel that love inside of you, and it's going to take some digging, then you're not looking for it out there. So imagine you feel really good about yourself, you like yourself, you love yourself. And then you go out to the world and you're projecting that out. And you're going to bring that in. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to come in and watch these videos. I hope it's been of some sort of service to you. Please share it with people. That helps me out. It helps this channel out and whatever I'm trying to do here or whatever this is going to turn into. And we'll see. And thanks again.